If you're about to start your very first job out of college, or maybe you just started a few weeks ago, here is exactly what you need to do in your first 90 days to set yourself up for a career that actually takes off. I'm not exaggerating when I say this. Your first 3 months at a company can literally define your trajectory. The relationships that you build, the reputation that you create, and the habits you form, all of that compounds. But here is the good news. If you're intentional about these first 90 days, you can build a foundation that carries you for years. And I'm going to walk you through exactly how to do that. If you're new to my channel, welcome. I'm Aishwarya Srinivasan. I've been in the machine learning space for a decade now. I did my master's in data science from Columbia University, and I've worked at companies like Microsoft, Google, and IBM. And these days, I lead AI developer relations at Fireworks AI. So let me share what I've learned. Let's start with the first and maybe most important mindset shift. When you walk into a new job on day one, your first few weeks are not about proving yourself. They are about understanding the environment you just walked into. Think of it like this. You wouldn't try to navigate a new city without looking at the map first, right? The same logic applies here. Before you can contribute meaningfully, you need to understand what's actually going on. What does the product do? How does the team work together? Here is what I want you to do. In your first week or two, ask your manager and your peers some very specific questions. Ask them what are the biggest priorities for the team right now. Ask them things like, what does success look like for a team in this quarter? Ask them, what should I know that isn't written down anywhere? These questions do two things. First, they give you critical context that will help you focus your energy on things that actually matter. Second, they signal to everyone around you that you're thoughtful and you care about doing the right work, not just any work. Now, here is something that might feel counterintuitive, especially when you're somebody who likes to put your heads down and just do the work. Early in your career, silence is dangerous. Let me explain what I mean. When you're new, nobody knows what you're capable of yet. And in the absence of information, people make assumptions. And those assumptions are actually not in your favor. So your job is to over-communicate. You need to share updates often. Tell people what you're working on, what you've finished, and where you're stuck. Even if you think they probably don't need to know this. Here is a simple framework that works really well. At the end of each day, or at least every couple of days, send a quick message to your manager or your team. Something like, hey, I've made progress on X today. Here is where things stand. I'm planning to tackle Y tomorrow and I'll update you when it's done. That's it. It takes 30 seconds to write it. This does a few powerful things. It shows ownership. You're not waiting to be asked for updates. You're proactively sharing them. It keeps people in the loop so there are no surprises. And it gives your manager a chance to course correct early if you're headed in the wrong direction. Then the next thing I would ask you to do is document aggressively. This is the step that most people skip, and I think it's one of the highest leverages that you can do. You just need to document everything. Every task you complete, every process you learn, every lesson you pick up, just write it down. Here is why documentation matters. First, it makes you organized. Second, it saves your team time. If you document a process that you just learned, the next new person does not have to figure it out from scratch. Third, and this is a selfish reason, it makes your life so much easier when performance review times comes around. I've seen so many people struggle to remember what they actually accomplished over the past 6 months. In step 4, when you start a new job, it's natural to focus on your immediate team. These are the people you work with every day, the people whose name you learn first, and the people you have meetings with. But here is what I want you to understand. The relationships that often matter most for your long-term career are the ones outside of your immediate team. Then step 5 is set up one-on-ones. One-on-ones are one of the most underutilized tools for career growth, especially for new grads. And I want to give you a very specific playbook on how to approach this. Start with your manager. You should have regular one-on-ones with them, ideally weekly or at least bi-weekly. But don't just show up and wait for them to lead the conversation. Come prepared with an agenda. What are you working on? What questions do you have? What feedback are you looking for? And what do you need from them? If you drive the conversation, you'll get way more value out of it. Now, here is the thing most people don't do. Don't just stop with your manager. Reach out to senior leaders you admire, people who are a level up or two above you, people whose career path you find interesting, people who seem to really know what they're doing. Send them a message and ask if they would be open for a 15 to 20 minute conversation. When you get that meeting, be prepared. Have 3 to 4 thoughtful questions ready. Not generic stuff like how do I succeed here, but specific questions about their experience, their perspective, their advice on something that you're actually grappling with. Then step 6 is speak up. This one is simple but so important. There is no such thing as stupid questions. Ask, clarify, push for feedback. You're new, you don't want to seem incompetent, you don't want to bother anyone. So you stay quiet. You nod along in meetings even when you don't understand something. Here's the thing. Being quiet to not bother anyone slows your growth way more than somebody asking way too many questions. The people who learn fastest are the people who ask the most questions. Then step 7, take every challenge. In the beginning of your career, your job is not about chasing only the exciting high visibility projects. It is about building trust. And here is how you build trust. You volunteer for the grunt work. You take on the urgent tasks that nobody else wants to do. You roll up your sleeves and do the unglamorous stuff that just needs to be done. I know this isn't what you wanted to hear. And you will eventually. But in the first 90 days, your goal is to show people that you're dependable, that when something needs to happen, you are the person who can make it happen, that you didn't think any task is beneath you. Because here's the truth, dependable people are the ones who get trusted with bigger responsibilities. So if there is a tedious data cleanup that needs to happen, volunteer and do it. If there is an urgent bug that needs to be fixed over the weekend, raise your hand and do it. If someone needs your help with something outside of your job description, help them. This isn't about being a pushover or letting people take advantage of you. It is about building a reputation as somebody who gets stuff done. That reputation is worth more than any individual project. Then step 8, always track your wins. I mentioned documentation earlier, but I want to specifically emphasize tracking your wins because this matters more than you think. Always keep a running log of what you've accomplished. Whether it's the completed projects, whether it's the contributions that you've made, whether it's the problems that you've solved, even small things that you fixed that made somebody's life easier. Be specific. What was the situation? What did you do? What was the result? There are 2 reasons this matters. First, when performance review time comes around, you'll be ready. You won't be scrambling to remember what you did. You will have a clear record that you can pull from. Second, and this is the one people don't talk about, it helps you see your own progress when imposter syndrome creeps in. And trust me, imposter syndrome will creep in. Then step 9, get out of your comfort zone. Growth does not happen at your desk. It happens when you step into new spaces, meet new people, and put yourself in situations that feels a little uncomfortable. So join a cross-functional meeting even if you don't think you'll have anything to contribute. Sign up for a lunch and learn, even if the topic isn't directly related to something that you're working on. Go to that team happy hour even if you're an introvert and socializing drains you. I'm not saying you need to become an extrovert or force yourself to be somebody you're not, but I'm saying that some of the most valuable opportunities comes from spaces between your regular work. These things don't happen if you stay in your comfortable bubble. So push yourself a little. It doesn't have to be every single day, but make a conscious effort to step outside of your routine regularly. And then step 10, be intentional. Let me bring all of this together with the most important point. Your first 90 days are not about being perfect. They are not about impressing everyone. They are not about knowing all the answers. They are about showing people that you're curious, you're coachable, and resourceful. Curious means you ask questions, you want to understand how things work, you're genuinely interested in learning. Coachable means you take feedback well, you act on the advice, and you're willing to change and grow. Resourceful means when you face a problem, you figure it out. You don't just throw your hands up and wait for somebody else to solve it for you. If you demonstrate these 3 qualities consistently, you will build a reputation that opens up a lot of doors. Don't just drift through your first 90 days hoping things work out. Be visible, be prepared, and be the person people can trust to figure things out. If you do these things consistently for 90 days, you will set yourself apart. Not because you're the smartest person in the room, but because you're the most intentional. If this was helpful, please subscribe and hit the bell icon. I post regularly about AI and ML career tips, free resources, educational explainers, and my journey building a career in tech as an immigrant in the US. Drop a comment below and tell me, are you about to start your first job or are you already in your first 90 days? What's the biggest challenge that you're facing? I read these comments and they help me know what to cover next.